husband actually makes the music to all these. So
Oh wow,
yeah,
I love that.
yeah, yeah.
My husband is also a producer. How funny.
Look. But yeah, we're gonna have to connect outside of this. This is so funny. That's awesome. So yes, welcome you guys to ISWA Unlimited TV. I'm gonna turn this down real quick. But welcome to ISWA Unlimited TV, you guys. This is episode 3, season 1, just getting started, and I'm super, super excited about who we have in today. Guys, listen, let me just tell you guys. I personally picked her because I thought she was amazing. And I said, you know what? I don't think she knows how amazing she is. So let me get on live with her so I can make sure that that's expressed. That's how much I've been following her, watching her, and seeing her grow really, really fast on YouTube. So she's representing Ohio today, guys. Okay, what? And I'm from Michigan, so you already know we're neighbors. But yeah, so she's representing Ohio, you guys. She has a lot of things that she does. It's like a mirror reflection, you guys. Okay, she's a music artist, a singer, songwriter, an artist, painting. She's also a tarot reader right here. Okay, I think her channel is called Dalila, Hippie.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Oh, I got. So she's into painting and just all of the arts and all of the things. And as you can tell by just looking at her, she looks like a piece of art. Okay, from the background to how she looks. You guys, this is Dalila.
Hi. Thank
I'm
you
gonna
for
get that
having
stuff,
me. I'm so grateful.
Thank you. I'm gonna have to upgrade this whole thing and put some cheers and stuff in the background or something. It's like,
I think it looks great. I love your setup. It's cute.
thank you. So Delilah, talk to us, tell us a little bit more about yourself before we go in.
Oh, well, you've said so much about me already. Yes, I am a musician. I go by the artist name Dalila. I just came out with a single last month called Take a Chance on Me. It's a little bit of indie rock. I'm stepping into kind of a new genre. I play guitar, piano, and ukulele. Those are really my main instruments. And yes, I'm from Ohio. And I love it here. I feel like there's so much to do. We have so many trails, and I love hiking and everything. So, and then I just started my YouTube channel, Dalila the Hippie, about 6 months ago. And I kind of just started because I really needed somebody as a kid. So I decided to be that person for other people on YouTube. And so it kind of just started as messages, channeling, and then I rolled into tarot and I picked it up. And now I just do tarot readings. And I have another series that's called Breaking Up with Marijuana. And I'm currently on my journey of breaking up with cannabis. And it's really hard, but I'm documenting the process kind of vlog style. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
I think that's incredible. That's
Thank
incredible.
you.
Like, no, not many people, that's really personal too, not many people feel comfortable just going through that experience and documenting how it makes you feel, because it's like it's almost like, some people are addicts and stuff, and they feel like when they withdraw from that, they have different effects on their body, on their mind, and different thoughts that come up. What's up? And so I'm just like, oh my gosh, like for her to be brave enough to share that story is amazing. I think it's incredible.
Thank you. It's definitely been a little bit difficult for me, being so raw and open and like not caring how I look on camera when I wake up in the morning. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
yes. I just try to be so raw and real, and like it's hard. And a lot of people don't talk about the withdrawals from marijuana. For me personally, I'd been smoking since I was 17 and I'm 25 now. So to have that substance all day, every single day, and then to wean myself off, it's just been a lot. But I found out a lot about myself, and I'm loving sobriety, and yes, it's so fun.
Awesome. So someone asked, what are we doing? So this is called ISWA Unlimited TV, and I interview people that would like to share their story, that whether it's their spiritual journey or something that has influenced them in their life to where they've gotten to where they are now, something like that. I'm trying to figure out how to say it. But definitely when I feel like there's a story that needs to be shared, I reach out to people. When I feel a connection, a vibe, there is something that has to stick out about that person for me to want to interview them and be just interested and kind of nosy, honestly, into their life. And be like, hold on, wait a minute. Can you pull back the curtains a little bit and let me get to know you? Let me get to know a little bit about you because you know what I'm saying? So she's definitely that person. So what we do pretty much is just we interview people here. I allow them to share their story. I was inspired because I took so long to share mine. And I think I just overthought it over and over. Like, what will people say? What would they think? Some people didn't understand already. So to me, it's like sharing another personal part of me. I felt like I would be rejected. And so it took me about 5.5 years to share my story. So I said, now I'm going to uplift other people to do the same. And that's what I'm doing right now. So, and eventually in season 2, I'll be traveling, going to people. So let's go
That's
ahead
so
and manifest that.
exciting. I love that.
I am too. Let's get into it. So tell us, walk us through the process. How, did you start this journey, being on this spiritual journey? I know some people look at spirituality as, not really a spiritual thing. They're like, this is my lifestyle. This is just what it originally was, and I'm just remembering that. But for those of us that are new to this journey, I would just say, your spiritual journey, your awakening moments, your returning to self.
Yeah, so back in 2019, I really started delving deep into meditation. I had a really bad eating disorder. I was bulimic since I was 8. So I was
Mm,
really struggling with that internally and, swinging back and forth. And I had a really, really bad episode and I ended up going to the hospital. They ended up diagnosing me with borderline personality disorder. And it
mm,
really kind of threw me off. I had never heard of anything like that. And I always just thought I was just really emotional, you know? So, getting my diagnosis and everything, I really delved into spirituality because, there's a bunch of medication that they try to give to you and it doesn't really feel good on your body. So,
mm,
I really said, you know what? Let me see if meditation works. And I found this beautiful YouTube channel called The Great Meditation, and they do 10-minute meditations. Amazing. And then after that, I actually met my spiritual advisor here, and she does Reiki and talking therapy, past life regressions. And
yeah.
so she really worked with me and had me clean out a lot of what I had. I had no idea about chakras or like anything like that. I always thought I was super guru. And then I started doing my healings and I started noticing a difference. I realized I was happier and more clear. And it felt like the fog had kind of lifted away from me. And so through that, I started stretching and exploring just who I was. And I really feel like through the years, I've really started to find myself even more and just love who I am, especially being somebody in recovery. It's really hard to look at yourself and love your body and love who you are. And so
Mm,
through my healing, I've really just learned that I'm temporary. Where I am right now, who I am, the body that I'm in, it's so temporary. And to not like judge myself so much and be so hard on myself. I had this moment where I went with my a bunch of friends that I had at the time, and we went to a cabin in the woods. And I just was looking around at everybody, and I was just like, there was all different shapes, all different sizes. I'm like, wow, everybody is beautiful here. And so then I started thinking to myself, I'm like, well, if I think that these people are beautiful, then that must mean that they think that I'm beautiful too. So it
yeah.
really it really
Hmm.
made me realize that we just put so much pressure on ourselves to be perfect or to be a specific type of way. And by me just letting go of all of that, it really, really helped me in my journey. Yeah.
Good. That's amazing. I
Thank
mean,
you.
you okay, look, I'm gonna get a little bit let me pull back the curtain a little bit more. I mean, let me pull it back just a little bit more. I'm so interested in how your relationship with your family, that's one of the biggest things that I think people going through, whether it's spiritual awakening, the returning, or remembering of self, we go through these things, and then when we have family, whether in relationships, our parents, our siblings, whoever it is, we go through this and it also affects them too. So walk me a little bit through of how it affected you in your relationships, this shift, this change.
Yeah. So I'm married. I've been with my husband since I was 17. He was my high school sweetheart. We've been together for 7 years. Yes. Love of my life. Like movie moment, we met and it felt like instantly we knew each other and we've just been so beautiful ever since. We literally had a Romeo and Juliet moment on our prom night. He literally made a rope ladder so that he can sneak into my house every single night. Yeah, seriously. And he would sneak into my house. We would have sleepovers when I was 17. Like, oh, such a cute little moment. And so we ended up moving in with each other very quickly. And
Yeah.
I realized, I came from a family. I was actually adopted. Okay, first of all,
Okay.
I was adopted when I was 4.
Okay.
And came to a family that they, treated me well. They had food, clothes, went to a good school. There's a lot of emotional abuse that was kind of hidden behind, perfectionism, a lot of narcissism and control. I was very, very controlled my whole life. And so stepping out of that and moving into my own home, I treated my husband how they were treating me. I had no idea. I thought that it was normal that when you're upset, you yell and you scream and you escalate, or you ignore, or you don't, go straight towards what the problem is. I grew up in a home where whenever there was a fight, we would just go days without talking to each other and then it would be perfectly fine. Nobody would speak. And so being in close relationships, it created a bunch of turmoil. He came from a home where everything was talked about, everything. He had very, very, very great parents. And
Wow.
so for him, it was just like, whoa, this is a lot. I love you. I care for you. And how are we going to work through this? How are we going to get through this? Because I would be screaming and crying and just like emotionally irregulated,
Emotional.
from the trauma. And
Yeah.
so, by me pulling back my shadow that I had over top of me, and softening and warming myself up, it really helped us. We decided to work through it. We went to therapy together and really spoke out how we felt about it. And, I'm not saying that relationships are perfect, but to be able to work on it together, it really, really helped us. There was a bunch of turmoil, but now, we know how to communicate with one another and to make our boundaries clear. And yeah, I feel like we're thriving. And with my parents, I realized I had to step away from all that, as much as I love them, as much as I care for them, they do not see, how they treat others. And you can speak to a narcissist until you're blue in the face, and they're still going to turn it back on you. So I stepped away from it. And that's something that I still struggle with, because I have love for them. But it was for the best. And I think that I'm growing.
Yeah. That, you almost brought me to tears
Oh,
because yes, because honestly, number one, this is you remind me of my niece, okay? She has the whole hair like that all the time and she has this sweet spirit just like that. This kind of so I'm already dealing with that, okay, over here. And then over here I'm listening to your story and I'm like, this girl, if she is not me, I do not know. I'm like, what the what? I feel like I'm talking to a younger version of myself. So I definitely can relate. I met my husband at I think we were like 18 and yeah, so yeah, we were 18. We've been married for almost 17 years. We've been together for almost 20. So I definitely can relate to that and also being raised that way. Oh, he's on here. He's on here. What's up?
hi.
Midway. So yeah, so I definitely can relate to that and us being raised two different ways. Definitely just like you, where there's the yelling and you're kind of and then when you have kids too, it's kind of like that's why I'm glad that you're where you are as well because that definitely is going to help in the future and just throughout life in general. But for me, I had to learn how to break that cycle from what I had and what I went through and then with my children like it's not okay to yell, it's not okay to da 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 and that you can get your feelings out in a different way. And even if it wasn't yelling, it was like the nasty talking, like the sarcastic type of thing where you're just like,
Oh,
uh-huh.
yeah.
Oh man.
Passive aggressive. I was queen of
Yes.
passive aggressiveness. Oh gosh.
Mhm.
I'm also Puerto Rican, so I'm feisty
Okay.
as it is. So On top of that, I had a little bit of an attitude. I still have an attitude sometimes.
Yeah, you got a little spiciness already. Came naturally at birth. Okay, a little spicy came at birth. So I love that. I could definitely relate. This, I think, is something I want people to know. And guess what? Just so you know, I have experienced so all different cultures, ages, everything. I've always been a person that loved all cultures since I was little. In fact, like you said, I was adopted in our relationship. Yes, yes. So my husband is adopted,
Oh
right?
wow,
Yes,
cool.
yes. Yep, yep. So all like it's just so many synchronicities. But I remember like I don't even know where I was because that took me. but um but I just feel all the synchronicities. I know there are a lot of people that can relate to this story in many different ways. That's a lot to that you talked about. But also I feel like getting into relationships with people who I feel like have not gone through what we've gone through. I think honestly, I feel like it works for you. I mean, I feel like it depends on how you are as a person. Because
Yeah,
I couldn't imagine if my husband had went through the same things that I'd gone through, how the relationship would have been. And I'm
yeah,
just like, thank goodness his parents were calm. They were, saying different things like that. And so I'm like spicy too, and he's calm. And so it's like that. So so yeah, I don't know what else I was gonna say, but it's fine. It'll come back to me. It'll come back to me. Oh, cultures. Thank you, Spirit. Cultures. Okay. I'm for all cultures. I love that. Like everything that I've ever done, I wanted to be in a singing group, and I told somebody I want all different cultures, and they looked at me crazy when I was little. I was like, no, no, no. I have to have an Asian person. I gotta have this person. I got a Mexican person. And they're like, what? And I'm like, no, no, like that's what I want to do. I want to be in a group and everybody's represented. Why? Like we can take over the world, you know? I'm just like,
for real, you
people,
can.
people was like, uh, yeah, no, nobody got the vision. Okay. Nobody got the
I
vision
see
there.
it. I
Thank
see your
you.
vision.
I was like, you know what? Look, because then I started realizing it was the same thing with religion. It was like if you have all these different people that believe in different things, bring them together. Don't keep them separate. Let's show each other how much we are alike instead of just focusing on all the differences because the differences are so small anyway. And most of the time, there's just a little name change. There's a little bit of the story that got tweaked. There's a little bit. I'm like, can we just come together for a second? So
I
I
agree.
I have attracted all different cultures, all everywhere from around the world. I coach people from all around the world, and I'm grateful for that. So when you said that, I was like, yes, another person that's like everybody's welcome. You know what I'm saying?
Everybody.
Everybody.
Absolutely.
How was your self esteem?
Oh wow. Well, it was awful actually. It was so
Okay.
bad. I really I didn't like myself honestly ever until I turned 19 really. I grew up really not liking who I was. I have huge curly hair. I had no idea how to tame it, so that made it 10 times worse. Obviously, going through puberty, I got a lot of acne and I never was able to fit in with people. And I think is
Mm,
because I was trying so hard to be like everybody else. And I'm different and I've always been different. And so I ran from the fact that I was different. And so I
yeah.
just had awful self esteem. I was bulimic and anorexic. And I think that part of it was image. And the other part of it was that I felt like I had no control in my life. And that's
Mm,
what I could hold on to make myself feel safe. And so
mm,
finding my self-esteem, that was one of the hardest parts of all of it, was to look at myself in the raw and say, you know what, you're absolutely beautiful. Who you are, what's happened to you, it doesn't define you. It doesn't define who you are. And so I just I remember I was laying on the ground and I was just crying to spirit. I was just like, please, please guide me to see myself. Please guide me to just see how beautiful I am. And then that next Yes. Then that next weekend is the weekend that I found, my beautifulness. It was actually kind of overwhelming.
Okay.
I actually I was on Molly when it happened.
Okay.
And that really opens up, it's that love, the love that flows in. And I remember feeling guilty because I felt like I wasted my life, I'm just like, wow, I've been so beautiful this whole time. And I mourned, all of the hurt, everything that I ever did to myself. But then, like, to see the other part of it and say, you know what? Wow, like, this marks a brand new beginning. This marks a brand new page. Like, I felt euphoric almost, you know what I mean? And, like,
Yeah.
even after that, like, even when I think about it now, I still kind of get that same giddy feeling. Like, it's like the Fool card in the deck where you're looking out and there's sunshine and there's water, underneath of you. It was a beautiful moment for me.
That's amazing. Tell us, we said Molly is what you took. Tell us what
Yeah.
that is. Let's, for those of you that don't know what that is, share that with us. We want to know what it is. Some of us might want to do a little trip. Like,
It's ecstasy. So it's basically ecstasy.
oh, okay. See, I didn't know.
Yeah. Yeah, there's ecstasy and then Molly. It makes you, sass specifically. It makes you feel so
Mm,
good. It makes you feel like you're rolling, right?
okay,
Flowing with
okay.
it all. I would consider it's a little bit similar to mushrooms if you ever have taken mushrooms before.
Okay.
But it's a little bit more intense than mushrooms, I would say, for
Mm,
me personally.
okay.
Um, I've only ever done it. Actually, that was one of the only times I ever did it before. So,
Look,
yeah,
it showed up and was like, no, let me tell you what you did this for. Let me
yeah,
tell you why you had to take me so I can show you yourself and be your reflection, right?
absolutely, for sure.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I have not done that, but let me tell you what I did do, and this is something that I put in my book, The Time I Had to Die. I talked about me having this moment where my shower became my shower portal. It was the place where I hit rock bottom and I'm just like my showers were like the only place where I felt like I could breathe. I felt like I could cry. I felt like I could scream. And I felt like I would receive channel messages, songwriting, like all the things in the shower, right? And baths, everything like that. But there was one day where I was like, I'm so sick of this. So I got out the shower. Look, I took my little towel off. I said, I'm gonna look at myself bigger. Okay. And I looked at myself and I'm like, I'm gonna love you again. That was like day one to this whole journey of self-love, of confidence and growing in myself. And I was like, I'm gonna love you again. Because I thought that I loved myself. But then I realized even the people around me, I didn't trust that they loved me. And it was because I didn't love myself. So I didn't know what love, but also just unconditional love really felt like. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So I got that. That was my tower moment. You
and I
know,
love that.
we look at
That's
the tower
actually
moments
so
as
beautiful.
negative, but oh, go ahead, go ahead.
I said that's beautiful. Absolutely. It's
Thank
like you're
you.
looking at yourself and you're just like, you know what, this is my body and I have to accept you. We're gonna be together for the rest of our lives, so why not love it?
Look, why not? And it's funny because at the time, I was going through pregnancy and different things like that. So our bodies are changing and shifting, and I'm just like, oh man, like all these thoughts running through my mind. But I was like, no, like, I'm gonna love you. And even after I had the baby, that was the biggest part, And I'm like, I'm gonna love you again. I am going to love you and for real this time, and I went on my journey and I'm grateful to love myself, all parts of me. Because I mean sometimes we can get tripped up in who people say we are, and then we lose our identity because it's wrapped up in what everybody else is saying that we are, and then we're like, wait, am I really that way? And then people make everything so negative, and it's like, no, you know what, maybe I do talk too much, but guess what that talking is going to do? It's going to allow me to do some TED Talks. It's going to allow me to get paid 20K and more just for a speech. It's going to allow me to be able to coach and mentor people. So what? So what? Being teased about crying and just like, my tears are magic. So I had to evolve my tears and be like, my tears are magic. I can use them in my plants. I can use them in my rituals. I can use them, my tears, to manifest things. And so it's like turning all those negative things that seem negative, all the things people have said, all the things that we've been hard on ourselves about in our minds, and flipping that to work for us and not against us, right? It's really a mind game,
Yeah, I
mindset, right?
agree. And I feel like a lot of the times when the negativity comes from other people, our spirits, they shine so bright, right? We're so
Yes.
different than so many people. And so
Mm-hmm.
they're threatened by that. A lot of people are threatened by the power that we consume, or they feel that it brings up something that they're lacking within themselves. So the
Yes.
only way for them to feel better about themselves is to try to put us down. And I love how, and I do the same thing to alchemize all of that. It's almost a superpower. It makes you kind of feel on top
Yes.
of the world in a way.
It makes you feel like you are in control. Like you are in
Yeah.
control. You're creating your reality along the way. No one else is creating it. Before, when you don't know your power, your self worth, and all those things, you allow the things that other people say to dictate what you do, how you respond to things. And it's kind of like just like when we put up our boundaries, with people and do different things. You are making the decision to act outside of alignment. If you choose to do that, no one can make you do that. Even if you get upset about something, I tell people this. It took me a while to remember this. I used to think it was not good to get upset. It was not good to get angry. It was not good. I was raised Christian and everything too. So I was just like, man, like I can't get angry about nothing. So I would be so hard on myself for being angry and getting upset. And then later on in life, I was like, man, doggone it, no. This is an emotion. Okay. I can get upset if I want to. Now the trick is not staying there. So
Nada.
so I allow myself to be upset for a time period, and then after that, I'm alchemizing that, and I'm like, you know what? Now I'm gonna turn this into magic. Okay, now I'm gonna make it work for me instead of just sitting here being upset the whole day. I used to let days go by being upset about the same thing, or years. How about years go by? And we realize, when we're in that, we're not really in control of our reality then. We are succumbing to a past experience that we're half in past and half in present. Or we're somewhere up in the future trying to be somewhere up in the future and we're mad and we're in our present moment. So I like to tell
Yes.
people like that future doesn't exist right now. In your mind, it does simultaneously at the same time, but in your present human experience moment, you've got to honor that moment like nothing else because definitely you shift and create things to change along your journey.
I agree. And like speaking of, I always like when I was younger, right? And I feel like maybe you felt the same way. Like I've always known that I was going to be famous. Like I've always known it. I've always known that I'm going to be in front of huge amounts of people. Like I was the kid that would walk up to you in the grocery store and be like, "I'm going to be famous." And you're just like, "Okay, buddy." Like that's have fun with that. And
Yes.
so I was always like, when is it going to happen? When is this going to be? Like, it's not coming quick enough for me, right? And I would get
Hmm.
discouraged. Like, is this ever going to happen? Like, is this some cruel joke that the universe is playing on me?
Oh, come
And I
on.
realized that the more that I saw it as something in the future, the more
Hmm.
that it went farther away from me. And so when I had that shift, and I was just like, you know what? I surrendered to it. I trust the process. These visions that spirit is giving me, obviously, they're signs for something. And I just
Hmm.
need to stay on this path and just trust where I'm at. And I started realizing that you have to be in that reality. So to say, I kept saying, I'm living the life of my dreams. I'm already in the energy of the life of my dreams. And that's actually with my YouTube and all this stuff. That's how it started coming closer to me. I just
Girl,
surrendered.
yes. The surrender has been coming up so tough lately. Okay. I'm in a group right now of community of people, and it's one person there. She's been mentioning surrender. I've been hearing it on that platform, another social media platform. I'm like, we are in the stage of surrendering right now and allowing and flowing. It's no more of this fight. I was telling people
Yes.
you're not a victim anymore. You're not fighting. The only person that you're fighting is yourself. That's it. That really is the big battle, right? It's the us versus us, right? Me versus me.
Yes.
So I definitely can relate to having to get to that point where you're like, look, I'm surrendering to the process. Yes, you already know I can relate. I definitely knew that. I felt like I was born here and I was already royal and I was walking around like, where's my castle? Where is my such and such? Where's my person to clean my home? Like, I
Same.
was like, I was the crazy one. People are like, look, that is not your reality right now. And I'm like, no, but it is. But where's the stuff? I don't understand.
It's
What is that?
frustrating.
It's very frustrating when you know that you know, and you came here with the knowing. Okay, and it never
Yes.
left you because it's supposed to be in the forefront. It's supposed to be there for a reason, right? So you can remember who you are, and your journey and your path and what you're doing in life, right? But I remember when I was working at Victoria's Secret when I was a teenager, and I remember I used to have people call me the Queen, and I was just like, so, and they really did, they was like, oh, hi, the
Period.
Queen, and so just so it was like this name, and my husband, he was like, people really call you that? I was like, oh yeah, like he was
Period.
like, what? And it was so funny because if you ask him, he'll tell you I was so high maintenance. It was like I was not dating you or we weren't going anywhere if you weren't opening the door. I mean, all doors. I mean, the door to the building, the door to the car, the door to the and then, so my husband, he had to carry me a few times because the snow was too deep or I was afraid of worms. So when it rains, I wouldn't want to step on worms. So he was just carrying me. And so I'm like, man, I don't even know if I told that story. But that's what I'm talking about. And I'm not saying that he had to do those things. He chose to, but I'm telling you, that's my mindset was. And so I guess when there was a point in time where I felt like I hit rock bottom in my life, where I felt like everything was being stripped from me. You say, very true. Yeah. Everything was being stripped from me. I felt like that too was stripped. My idea of who I felt like I was going to be was stripped because I was like, my reality is not showing up. People are telling me this. Nobody else around me can see the vision. Nobody else is believing in it. It's not showing up. So maybe that's not me. So I had to go on that self-discovery journey like you did to be like, no, it is me. But where am I right now in life? And also, like you said, surrendering to when it's coming, not being like, oh, you know what, it's that's me in the future. I keep seeing myself in the future and that's me. It's like, no, I keep seeing myself in my present moment. That's me.
Yes.
I am that same person in my present moment. All I need to do is be that in my present moment. That same bringing in that energy that I feel deep down inside of me at
Yeah.
every present moment. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I completely agree. I also, I started to do that, rituals within my daily life where I'm like, okay, I wake up in the morning, I don't grab my phone anymore. I immediately thank the universe for where I'm at right now and I let go. And I
Hmm.
just go into meditation and I really just try to live the life that I know that is prosperous and abundant. And by
Mm,
doing those things, it really did shift it. The way that I see my finances and how I spend money, it's completely different than how I was before. I see it in a prosperous, abundant way versus
yes.
feeling guilty. I used to feel so guilty about spending money every time I would spend it. And so
Yeah.
now, whenever I
Oh
spend
my
it, I'm like,
gosh.
it's okay. It's coming back to me more than I could ever imagine it to. So yeah, it was a mindset shift for sure and physical shift in your reality too. You know,
Yeah.
you have to do the work.
Yes. And I think that people think that, okay, let's say I'm trying to figure out what you can manifest. I'm trying to think. I think people think sometimes it's the work behind it. The work, the work, the work. And I like to say the action, the action, the action. Because it's not really about the hardness. It's not really about how hard you're going. Because sometimes I have noticed that there are more people that relate or follow you or respond or whatever when you're in the just the flow of things,
Yep.
when you haven't necessarily planned every move out and you've allowed this flowing to happen and you're just flowing like, you know what, I feel like doing a video right now, boom, I feel like going outside and just taking a picture or walking in the grass. When you are in alignment with just the flow of things, I feel like that's just a whole nother thing, and it takes you to another point in your life where you feel more freedom. I had to,
Absolutely.
just
Especially
freedom.
media. Social media for sure, right? When
Mhm.
I first started it, I'm on Instagram as well, and I post every day on there. And in the beginning, I was following the trends of other people, and I was finding myself getting kind of caught into the work of it all. And then
Yeah,
I realized, I could just make this a part of my life. I'm going to do an outfit today, and I'm going to film a video. I'm going to go on a nature walk, like you said, and I'm going to
yeah,
film a video. Or
mhm,
just like incorporating it into it. And you're right, it's more of the action. It doesn't feel like work at that point. It's
yeah,
just
yeah,
flow.
it's just flow, and when it does, when you sometimes feel drained or tired or whatever, It's a different feeling when you're doing something that you love and you feel tired. You're ready to go the extra mile. You will have an energy drink or you will do something to wake yourself up and do what you got to do because you're like, this is what I love and this is what I actually asked for. But I think sometimes we aren't ready for what we asked for.
Oh,
Sometimes
yeah.
we actually ask for something and then when it comes, we're like, wait, hold on. Did I don't I did ask for did I really ask for that? And it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, you really did. It just didn't come in the way you thought it was going to come, but it came in a different type of package. And now you're like, oh my gosh, or you're just not ready, not prepared for what you
Mm-hmm.
really asked for. And we're shocked by that. So I always ask people, like, okay, well, you say you want this, but are you ready for it? You know what I'm saying? Are
Mm-hmm.
you ready? And if you're not ready, it's all right because it's still going to come. Like,
For
I'm like, it's
real.
okay. It's okay because we're not always ready. We're not always ready, but when it shows up, embrace it, be in gratitude of it, and go with the flow. You know.
Yeah.
So, all right. So I want to ask you another question. Let's see. Hmm. Okay, if someone was dealing with the same things that you've dealt with, whether it was low self-esteem, whether it was body image issues, not having this relationship with your parents, and then dealing with adoption too, because going on that journey, I'm telling you, after you know what I'm saying, go on this spiritual journey and finding yourself, and then you're like, wait, hold on. Now I'm going into the questions like, excuse me, what happened and why and such and such and such. So what advice would you give to someone and what have you learned now that you know what I'm saying, that you would give advice even to your younger self?
Yeah. Well, my biggest rule of advice for anybody is give yourself grace. Okay, you are literally only a human being. Seriously, and I feel like a lot of us forget that. We forget that we're here to learn, we're here to grow, we're here to make mistakes, and to not be guilty or feel guilty about it. I'm sure that whatever you are going through right now, it will pass. It is inevitable that it will pass, and to not beat yourself up about it. Also, it's okay to speak about it. That was my huge thing. I felt like nobody would understand me because I came from a home that whenever I would try to speak out, I would be immediately shut down, right? So I just felt
Mm,
like, you know what? I'm better off not speaking about it. But that was actually quite opposite. That's why I developed a lot of the coping mechanisms that I did. So speak to people about it. It's okay. Therapy is great, okay? And I know that it's a taboo, but like seriously, I would
therapy is great.
it's great. I'm a mental health advocate because seriously, like if I wasn't able to speak out about how I was feeling,
Yeah,
and I understand it's weird. This person's going to be a stranger in the beginning, and not every therapist is going to be your therapist, right?
yeah,
But
yeah.
don't stop until you find somebody that's actually going to listen to you. Ask spirit, manifest that for yourself. That is another thing. Your words are powerful, okay? So if you're stuck in this negative mindset and you always are the victim, there's always something that's your fault, anything like that, I ask you to challenge yourself to switch it up and say, you know what? Maybe this is my fault, but I learned from this, right? Something great is coming out of this. I'm not a victim here. I actually learned so much about myself. I'm so grateful. Another thing, you guys, being grateful for where you're at right now, right? That's what's going to bring in more abundance for you, right? If you just say, thank you, Spirit, for bringing me to this interview today, right? How
Mm-hmm.
wonderful is it really shifts up your perspective, and it's okay to have bad days too. It's inevitable to have bad days. For some of you guys, for me especially, I love to go, right? And it's okay to have a day where you literally just lay in bed, where you watch Netflix. Like, don't feel guilty about giving yourself that time to rest, because you're going to bring more energy in so that the next project you work on, you're going to be amazing at it. You're going to actually accomplish it better than you thought that you would, right? It's all about divine timing for everybody here. You are not a waste of space. You are so beautiful, and just, oh, you guys, if I would have seen how beautiful I was before, I feel like I would have not gone through so much. I'm grateful that I did, but I would have spared myself a lot of hurt on myself. So that's my advice. And if you're somebody that's adopted, specifically for those people that have been adopted, baby steps when it comes to learning about your past. Okay, you know, there's obviously a reason why everything happened for you, and it's okay to not want to know about your past. It's okay to just want to move forward from that. But if you are somebody that is going to be looking into your past, literally, you know, see it with an open mind. That was my thing. You know, it hurt me so much to know that the person that gave birth to me, they didn't want me, but there's always a reason behind everything, right? So give them
Mhm.
grace as well. That's that's my advice.
That's beautiful advice. Like, I mean, this is why I don't look at age. Like, this is exactly why. Because I feel like I tell people, I say you can learn from anyone. You can learn from the trees. You can learn from spirit animals. I mean, you can learn from anyone. So I don't. Your age, by the way. Come on, you're still in your 20s. Come on. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So much maturity, so much like you can tell that you've done the work. And those are the people like I can flow with people, you know what I'm saying, where you're not just pretending and you're not just like, well, I read it in the book. And so now and I'm like, look, props to you. I'm just not the book person. I barely wanted to read my own book that that I wrote. I was like struggling to read my own book. And I'm like, God, Lee, how many times do I have to read this book? Because I'm just not, I'm like, I have to get it on audio. But I'm just
Mhm.
like, that's like the best advice I feel like to give to people. Take it
Thank
slow.
you.
There's no rush. There's no rush. And I think I dealt with that for so long in my life too. Like just rushing, like because you can see, especially those that are intuitive and you can channel and you're like, ooh, I see some of my future. I'm gone. And then your
Mhm.
reality is like, wait, take
Why
the
am I not
journey.
in my mansion, right?
Right. Like I'm like, oh, and then sometimes you have to be delusional. Sometimes you go through that. You be like, I love my mansion. Yes, there's my pool. Yes,
Literally.
there's my, and you, and then you like, wait, okay, what happened? Like I did the manifestation stuff. What was going on? Like why? And it's like, look, there are some moments where I've been reminded so many times. The journey. Don't forget about the journey. Don't forget about the moments that you need to imagine if you didn't rush it. Like how many times have we rushed something? And then we look back and we're like, dang, if I would have took a little bit more time, if I would have just slowed down while I was typing that or I was doing that project or I was doing whatever it is, it could have turned out this certain type of way. So if this is your mission, if you're here to do that, if you're here to learn, but to grow and evolve and to share that with the collective in some way, there are moments where you're just going to have to slow yourself down and realize that I really do trust the universe, God, source, whoever. I really do trust. I know that everything is going to be fine. At least I know where I'm headed. At least I know that I am that person now that I see in the future. So just keep doing what I'm doing and trust the unknown. That's hard for people sometimes. Like we want to know everything. We
Yep.
want to know when it's going to happen, how it's going to happen, and who we're going to meet along the way, and the success is going to come from it. And it's like,
But it's like a birthday gift, right? Like it's like you know your birthday's coming, right? And you know
yep.
there's gonna be presents for you. You just
Hmm.
have to wait, right? They're gonna be there. You've manifested them, and then it makes it even more fulfilling when it happens. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Versus saying, "Oh, go, 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 go," because you're gonna miss it, right? It's
Yeah.
already
Yes.
gonna have passed because you were worried about when it was gonna come, right?
Yes, and there's some connections that happen along the way too, right? We're always talking to ourselves, and I'm always like looking at different ways that we communicate to ourselves, even outside of ourselves. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Yes,
something could be happening throughout the day, and we're like, yeah, this thing came up, and da 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 da, and then later on you realize, oh my gosh, like that was something I was supposed to be paying attention to that I put in my past for me to see, for me to realize right now where I am, X, Y, and Z. So I
yes.
absolutely love that. And I feel like for me, I have such a great relationship with my higher self and my spirit tribe that a lot of times I'm like, I already know. I know I put that in my way for a reason because I knew that that was the only way I was going to leave. That was the only way that I was going to put my boundary up. That was the only way I was going to realize this about myself. So it's like now I'm not getting so upset about the things that happen because I'm like, I'm realizing I had to do that to
Yes,
get
I agree.
myself attention. And you realize along the way, like, yep, if that didn't happen, I wouldn't have done it.
Yes, and, like, I think that another thing that's really helps me where I'm at too is being the parent to myself that I really needed. That's what also really
Yes.
helped me. like doing my inner child meditations and going back to those moments of trauma where I felt like I was by myself and refilling them
Mhm.
with who I am now, with my highest self. So I see myself as my highest self to my inner child now, right? And I
Yeah,
have a higher self that is guiding me. And
you
that's
gotta
really
do that.
what's helped me because it builds trust. I also have 4 core values that I follow. I love
Mm.
myself, I trust myself, I value myself, and I honor myself. And
Oh,
whenever
girl,
I
you
make
better go.
decisions, yes, whenever I make decisions in my life, I ask myself this before I do. I used to be very spontaneous, very impulsive, and I would get myself into situations that I did not need to get into. And so by me building this within myself, it's definitely really helped me develop values for myself. Yes.
You know I'm taking notes. I value myself. I trust myself.
Yes, honoring myself was really the hardest thing, you
I
know?
honor myself. What was
Mhm.
the fourth one? So I value myself. I trust myself. I honor myself.
I love myself, I trust myself, I value myself, and I honor myself.
Okay. So y'all get some notes. Write this down because we all need to be saying this to ourselves before we make some decisions. Does this honor me?
Yes.
Is it valuable to me?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Is it loving? Is it, do I trust myself doing this? All those type of questions I think are so important. That's amazing. I love that. Oh, I love that. You got to put that on the shirt or something. Do something with it.
Yes.
Something.
I write it on my mirror too. That was another thing that helped me was doing body
Hmm.
work on myself and writing
Yes.
out. I actually would write out the things that I loved about myself on my mirror so that when I would look at
Yes.
myself later on, I would say, "Oh wait, actually I love my eyes. I love the way that my hips curve this way, you know, I
Oh,
love my
yes.
smile." Right? And it just
Yes.
reminds yourself of how beautiful you are in moments where you feel like crap because we will feel like crap. It's inevitable. You know,
Yes.
especially as women, we have our periods and like our
Hmm.
bodies go through so many cycles, you know? And so
Yes.
it's just good to remind yourself that you're beautiful even when you don't feel good.
Even when you don't feel, because that doesn't change, right? It doesn't change, but our moods go up and down, but we're us, right? Absolutely love that. You're so right. I used to okay, what is this show called? Mary Jane, maybe Mary something with Gabrielle Union from back in the day. But she used to put sticky notes on her mirror. So when that happened, I used to put the sticky notes in my mirror all the time, and then I started switching them to dry erase markers because I was like,
Mhm.
oh, the sticky notes are falling off, the steam, and so I was like, oh, tired of taking them off. But I teach my kids that too. You know what I'm saying? So it's so funny how this is why I love these conversations, because now we can look at things differently, whether we're doing affirmations or whether we are in the mirror like, I love my eyes, I love my hips, I love my thighs. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, whatever it is that we doing, it's amazing and it helps us and it's real. And you can tell who's done the work. You can tell who's being led by themselves, who's being led by their spirit tribe. You know what I'm saying? Communicating. Earlier today, I had a whole live talking about your higher self. And I related to the higher self to your inner child. And I said, you know
Mhm.
what, you guys, I'm starting to feel like our higher selves are our inner child.
No,
I'm
I
starting to feel
agree.
it.
And that's actually, I feel like, where a lot of this success comes from, you know?
Mhm.
It's that inner child, like, "No, we gotta do it." Like, we promised ourselves this, like, we knew that we were going to, and keeping
Yes.
that childlike energy in it is what keeps you from not burning out, from not disliking what you're doing. It's that inner
Yes.
love that they have for it that, you know, keeps you going forward. Absolutely.
I like to question people, say, were we ever meant to be adults? Like the adult, like when you put the word adult up, it's just like, all you think about is work. What are the first things? Work, responsibility. You think about all those things, but when you think about your inner child, there's so much healing that happens with the inner child for a reason. And I feel like it's
Yes,
because that's totally related to our higher self. And when
yes,
you think about your higher self isn't doubting, your higher self isn't fearful or worried about anything. And as kids, they are like that until the sponge happens, until something
yes,
comes in, until that. Other than that,
yes,
they're authentically them, unapologetically. They say what's on their mind. They're using all of their chakras, so like, or the chakras that's open at the time of their age, and they're using that. But then at some point in time, someone tells them something and then their throat chakra gets blocked. Something else
yes,
happened and then something happens with the heart chakra. Something else happens and then they lose that sense of security, that sense of safety, and all that type of stuff. Or even some people have downgraded their creativity. And so
Yes.
now they're like, oh my gosh, now look at all this work that I've got to do. But know that you can do it. And it doesn't have to seem like a lot. And there are people that will tell you, they have different perspectives on your healing journey. And I'm just here to let you know, and I've learned this from my husband as well, that some people we don't have to go deep, which is why I love when you said, if you are adopted, you don't have to go to your past. You don't always have to go all the way back to the very beginning of the womb. And you're like, look, where was the womb of the person that birthed me? What was going on with your womb at the time? What was going on with this? Sometimes you don't need to go all the way back. Sometimes, for some of us,
Yeah.
we want to know. But for those that don't, we can heal right where we are. All we do is figure out, okay, because guess what? That situation, it could have happened in other situations in life. It's not the first time it's happened. When you dealt with
Yeah.
fear, you didn't just deal with fear when you were young. You dealt with fear when you was a teenager. You dealt with fear as a young adult. So all you have to do is say, it is the fear, wherever it came from. And you point that out, and then you start working on that. And then you start realizing fear is my best friend anyway. What the heck was I
Absolutely.
afraid of? Fear is here to teach me and to show me what I'm supposed to move towards, not what I'm supposed to, reject and refuse. And also, it's uncomfortable. And on the other side, we know of uncomfortability is change, it's evolution, it's transformation. So, yeah, I'm that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, it's got to be our inner child because listen, we have to tap into our inner child for everything. When we're
Absolutely.
flowing,
I also
when we're manifesting everything.
Yes, I've also realized that when it comes to being mature, I think that the most mature people are actually the most childish. You know what I mean? We exactly.
Yep, yep,
I mean,
yep.
we know when to be an adult, of course, but I think the most beautiful part of it is to know when to let your inner child out. And that's why a lot of people become rigid. They literally lose their inner child. And it's really sad to see,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, they're just a bunch of broken children walking around that were never able to fix themselves.
Yes.
And it
You
hurts
can
my heart a
feel
little
it.
bit.
Me too, because it makes me sad too, because we can feel that. We can feel that difference. And there are some people that I see, and I just told my husband this yesterday. I was like, that person is like a child, a grown child. Like you can feel that they're still at a certain age, but their physical body has continued to evolve. But you can tell that they're this broken child at this particular age, like the way that they operate, the way I'm just like, wow.
Yes.
I've even like one time, let me just tell you, I was at this one job that only lasted 29 days. And this look, you already know I wasn't meant to be there, right? I was like, well, wait, Spirit, I think I need to get a job. And Spirit's like,
I know.
and I walked in there, and then, the head person that's over everything, I could not help but read him. And I was just like, no, please stop. Like you're at a job and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't want to know their life. But then they start talking to you and you see this inner child come out and you
Yes.
see this lack of nurturing and you see this little boy who's like afraid and who doesn't have a voice and who needs to show his macho manly self and not cry because someone told him that crying was wrong, because someone told him that he can't be sensitive, because someone took that away and there was no mother there to nurture him and let him know that it is okay for you to do that. So not only I was
Yep.
just reading him into him, I was like, oh my freaking gosh. So when I came along, I'm talking, and he has these words that he needs to say to me. He's like, yeah, well, maybe, and I already knew. I was like, well, I guess what? Let me just tell you who I am. Let me just tell you in the nicest way I can. I'm saying, like, I know my value. I know who I am. I know what it is that I do. I know I'm this type of person, da da da. And so when you don't know who you are, and you going up
Yes.
and you against a person that feels like that they don't know who they are either, but they're pretending to be something that they feel like they have to be in order to survive because they haven't
Yes.
been able to work out what they need to work out within themselves yet. So they're just surviving
Yes,
while you're
I
trying.
was raised by two people that were broken children, and as an adult, I
Mm,
look at them and it's still, their coping mechanisms, the way that they did things. As a child,
yeah,
you don't realize that's not right. But now as
yeah,
an adult, it's like, oh wow, you just never healed yourself, and you just put it
yes.
on me.
You can see it. And I tell you, just being, just standing up for myself, even if it was in the most respectful way, it was something that had never been done to him before because he's like the head person. So he's like, and he was not having it, not happy at all.
Yeah.
But you know what? My thing was like, it's okay because guess what? After that, I was gone. And I was like, Spirit, so was I just there just for that? You know, like
Yep.
they were like, nobody's ever done that before. And I'm just like, really? Because, I don't really have this fear of like, authority. And I don't care if you're like the highest person of the highest person.
Me
I'm always
neither.
talking to the highest person. I'm always like, look, I was talking to this person that was with like the one of the top people over this company. I had no idea. I was just like, hey, how are you? What's going on? And he's like, yeah, I'm good. How are you? And we're talking. And then he's like, yeah, so I'm the, and I'm like, nope, I didn't know. It's
Oops.
like, right, like, okay, well, good. I'm glad you are. That's amazing. That's a great position to have. So, I think that, once you know yourself, you realize that you are everyone and everyone is you, just different versions of you. And so you operate differently. You don't have this fear of yourself. You know what I mean? You look at it
Yes.
like, you have a
I
deeper.
believe in shaman energy that we are
Yeah.
the teacher, but we are also the student in every situation. You can always
Yes.
learn from somebody and teach somebody.
Yes, exactly. I love that. And like I told you before, I learned from everything. And I tell people that I'm like, look, you guys, the weather, everything you can think of, you can learn from. Like I'm telling you, please, please don't just look at the gurus and say, oh, you know what? Maybe they just, I'm like, listen, let me tell you. Let me tell
Mm-hmm.
you. The biggest thing and the most important thing you can do is follow yourself. Be led by yourself first. Because how are you ever going to be led by anybody else if you cannot lead yourself? But once you lead yourself, you're going to realize you don't need to follow nobody else. So, you know what I mean?
True.
So this has been amazing. Let me see. Let me see. I got another question. Let me see. So, where are you now? What's going on now with you, and where are you headed? What does it look like for you moving forward?
Yeah, so I'm just I'm growing every single day on YouTube, which I'm
Mm-hmm.
grateful for. I'm at a point where it's maintenance
Okay.
now, keeping up with my meditations, keeping up with my routine, all my stuff. So now it's about regularly using.
Okay.
And so, yeah, I'm focused on building my YouTube, building my music career. I'm self-produced, so I produce all of my music myself, and I'm learning. That's where I'm headed, and I hope to be a teacher and to learn more. I'm only 25, so I have so much.
You're already teaching. You're already doing that already. You're teaching people even with what you're doing right now, but also with your channel that you have. You're teaching people. They're looking at you not just for the message you're giving, how you're giving it. You know what I'm saying? Your authenticity. Just the way that you are. Like you said, any things, any bloopers that you have. Not the editing parts that you leave in there and stuff. People are actually learning just from you just being you. So you're already the teacher.
Thank you.
Yes. So, I was gonna put you on the spot, but I know I wouldn't like it if somebody put me on the spot and was like, "Sing, girl." So I was like,
I can if you want.
look, I would like for you to sing, and not only that, I would like for you to pick one card. And I've been waiting for this moment. I've been like, look, Spirit, I'm gonna ask her to pick one card, and I want to see. I just want the whole whatever the message is for the collective today. I'm not gonna be selfish. I was gonna be like, look, pick a card for me. But yeah, I want pick a card. I want you to sing whatever you feel led to do, and then we're gonna close this thing on out with where people can reach you, and different things like that. So I'm excited. We gonna hear a song.
Yes, absolutely. That's funny. I literally already grabbed my cards. How
Nice.
funny is
See,
that?
see, I tell you. See, I've been thinking about this. I was waiting. I was like, look, I can't wait.
Okay, so I'm gonna read you first because I already pulled your
Oh,
cards for
for
you.
me? Oh
Yes.
shoot.
Okay,
Okay.
so we have the Hierophant. We have this Ace of Swords, which is beautiful for you. Spirit is just asking you to continue to do what you're doing, continue to use your voice, continue to connect with them even more. You have such a beautiful mind, so many ideas, so much going on with you. You're inspiration to other people, and I feel like you're just one of those people that makes people smile. You make people laugh. So yes, they're asking you to just continue to trust your intuition, continue to trust the path that you're on, because you are literally exactly where you need to be right now.
Love it.
Yes.
Confirmation in that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, of course. And then for our audience, we have the Judgment and the Nine of Swords. Okay. So, and you guys is causing you a lot of anxiety, causing you a lot of worries, and Spirit is asking you to give it to God, give it to Spirit, find your beautiful, most authentic self during this time, release judgment on yourself because you are absolutely beautiful. Self over and over. With these birds that are here for you, these are your spirit guides that you guys are fighting against in this time. They you with this Lover's card. This is how you guys should be with yourself and with the universe. Seriously. So it's time to heal, not war.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I was talking about did I mention that today about this Cancer energy? I'm like, look, we're in Cancer energy right now, and that's that deep healing, that deep emotional.
I'm a
I'm a Cancer
Cancer
too, so Cancer rising, okay? And I was talking about that. I was like, guys, we're
Love
in some
that.
deep healing emotional stuff. Things are gonna be coming up and switching us out like never before. But then we're gonna be entering into Leo. And I was like, look, y'all got up until July 22nd. Because when July 23rd comes, that Leo energy is gonna take off. I'm telling you. So I'm like, keep doing what you're doing. Do the deeper healing right now. So that when that Leo energy comes, you're in alignment with the Lionsgate portal, you're in alignment with that Leo energy, and you can take off, you know?
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. Absolutely.
Yes.
I'm going to do just like the slightest, just a small little part of my song,
course.
if that's okay.
You're breaking up.
It's called Goodbye to the Old Me, so I'm just going to do like.
Yeah.
Am I?
Let's see.
Am I good?
Yep. Right now you're good.
Okay, cool. Yeah, sometimes there's a little bit of a wavelength. Okay. It's okay. Okay, this song's called Goodbye to the Old Me. I hope you guys enjoy. I'm just going to do the beginning part.
Okay.
I know that I was just a young girl, now I've grown and I've found I don't want to be more. I know that it's time to explore. The old me. Nah, goodbye to the old me.
Good. It was breaking up a little bit, but I did hear it. I heard things. So, oh my gosh, that's amazing. You have a beautiful voice.
Thank you.
I'm so grateful for you to be here, Dalila. Number one, when I say, is that Dalila for real? I said, because you know what, that story that they told, it's a different type of story. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking like Dalila was the one with the good hair. Like I'm thinking somebody else was trying to cut her hair off. Like I'm thinking about, I'm like, look, let me see. I love that name. It's so beautiful. You have a beautiful spirit, a beautiful soul. Definitely an I would say an old soul, for sure. But also, I don't know, something about you feels so fresh. It's so new and so real. And it's almost as if I feel like if your soul came here and was new, you did exactly what you needed to do and exactly what you came here to do. So, yeah, yeah, you have a beautiful soul. And I know you're going to touch so many people. I can see you on stage. I can see you talking to different people and continue to do what you're doing. So when this August season comes up, just watch out. Look out, because I definitely feel like it's going to be go time. Go time. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep being authentically you, unapologetically. Keep posting your videos of you singing and stuff. Your inspiration to me when it comes to that. That is something that I have had many years to get over and to conquer because of my own insecurities and different things that I've dealt with from childhood that I've had to heal. And so when I saw your video the other day, I was like, this girl, I got to hurry up and get her on here because this is inspiring me, because I've been on this journey taking one step at a time. I've been singing live and different things like that, but it's still something there and I notice it. And so I'm like, all right, now that I know that you're there, I'm going to keep putting myself in uncomfortable positions so that I can continue to grow and evolve. So thank you so much for being you. Thank you for being here. Oh, anything you want to say? Anything else you want to say?
I want to say thank you to
Uh-huh.
you.
Yes.
And for
So
you
right.
being your beautiful self. I feel like we vibed so much. So I'm
Yes.
grateful for the opportunity. And I look forward because I feel like we're going to be doing more together,
Yes.
of course. Yes. And to anybody out there that is listening, that is watching, you are beautiful exactly as you are right now. And you are chosen one, and you will accomplish great things in your life, seriously. As well as you guys can check out my YouTube channel. It's called Dalila the Dalil. Can look me up on Spotify. Single I don't care. 28th, if you guys want to check that out. Dalila is official on Instagram as well. And yeah, that's my little self promo. It's called I Don't Care, and it's coming out on
And it's you and it's your way, your style. You know what I mean? Like you play so many different instruments. It's just amazing. And I love that your husband is a producer as well. So he creates the music and everything too with you. So that's
Mhm.
amazing. So look, I have to you lighting a fire underneath me because people have been asking me, come out with it, come out, is it out, is it out? And I'm just like, no, I'm still look, no, I gotta get it out. I gotta get it out.
You should. It'll feel so much better.
Yeah, yeah. I think that you know how sometimes you're putting things out that you don't really resonate with anymore, but it's a story and you want the story to be told. So it's like one of those things where at first, once I started singing the song, I started feeling like I was back in those emotions. So I had to go and do a little bit more of that, changing my mindset about it, healing and growing. And so I've done that now. So I'm just excited. I'm in a really good place right now. So I'm just going to continue doing what I'm doing. And I'm excited. I'm excited because I have something coming out too, but I'm not gonna tell y'all just yet. Y'all gonna have to wait. Y'all gonna have to wait because I'm so excited. And I always give everything away. I'm always like, but yeah, so I'm glad you have a date. So thank you so much. Take a chance on me. That single is already out. So y'all
Yes.
go light it up. Okay. Even I know you're gonna be watching this later on. We're not doing this for the audience that's on here right now, right? Y'all look, all the thousands of you in here. Listen, somebody go stream. Go watch out for her because I feel like she's gonna be really big in the future. And so I told my husband, I said, I gotta sit down and talk to her because I already feel it, already know. She's gonna be amazing. And I'm gonna say, look, guys, I got to interview her first. Sorry. Yo, all right. So
I love
thank you.
that.
Yes, thank you so, so much, Dalila. Please stay in contact with me, whether it's through email, through Instagram, like we've been doing. I barely, I'm barely on Instagram, as you see. But yeah, let me know. Keep me updated. I'll be watching out. You'll always probably see me in your comments, as I do. If I'm watching, you'll see me in the comments. I'm always gonna do that. But thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it so much. I appreciate you. You're such a
Thank,
light.
thank you so much. You too. And tell your husband I said hi. Your dog. I think that's a dog in the background. So yes.
I have 3.
Oh, wow. Okay. See? Yes. So thank you again. We have to keep in touch and just really just see if we can collab or do something. We got to do something.
Yes, we
All right. Yes, thank you. All right, see you later, everybody. Please don't forget to check out Dalila, you guys, and have a great rest of your day. Remember, you are magic. So today, be magical, spread love, share your story. And wait, hold on. I want to do yours first because you do something after your lives every time. Do that first, and I'll do mine.
okay. Okay.
Because I love it.
Okay. I hope that wherever you are having such a wonderful day. If not, I'm sending you so much extra love to make it through. You are amazing and so beautiful, and tell yourself this. Look yourself in the mirror today and say, I'm amazing and I'm beautiful. Say it until you believe it, but you cannot believe it unless you say it. So flip and say it because it's absolutely true.
Yes, I love that, guys. See, that's why you need to go watch her video so you can memorize that right there. All right, you guys, remember you are magic. So today, be magical, spread love, share your story because it is worth it and you deserve your story to be heard. All right, I love you. Peace. Thank you so much, and I will see you soon. All right, bye.
Bye.